So the context of this is, and yeah, again, for anyone just tuning in, we were talking yesterday on the First Such podcast. Azure and Rolled as Teammates had me on as a guest in their podcast to talk about various things from the Winter Major mainly. And one of the topics that came up was called Offense Obsolete. At the bottom here, for those of you on mobile who can't see the text clearly, it says, has defense become that much easier than offense? And then a subtext here saying both defensive teams dominated San Diego. That was the overall topic. We talked about this at length. So if you want to hear the whole topic, you can check it out on the Rocket League channel's VODs. I'll just show you a summary in a second in this clip. But yeah, the overall idea was, T-Bates was presenting the idea that he thinks that defensive teams are dominating right now and that attacking, offensive, aggressive teams are suffering because offense is just weaker right now than defense OP. That's the general premise. But I wanted to get him, really to explain what do you mean by defense, because it can be a bit vague sometimes. And this is the take that he went for. Hopefully this is the right volume. This is his answer to me asking, are Karmine Corp a counter-attack focused team? But are you saying Karmine Corp, the majority of their goals are counter-attacks?
I don't know about the majority of the goals, but I will say that the identity, both of the teams in the final, I really don't think it's arguable. Both of the teams in the finals, their identity is they're going to play great defense and they're going to counter-attack you. And that's exactly what they do. And Carmine's counter-attack is the best in the game. That's why they're so good. They score on that counter-attack.
But are you saying... So that's the summary of it. That was part of the discussion. Obviously, there's more to it than that, but we're not going to listen to the whole thing. If you want to listen to the whole thing, you can do that on the Rocket League channel. But yeah, super good podcast. I love being a guest on there, and I love watching every episode that I'm not a guest on. And yeah, I love discussing every topic with Bates in particular, because you guys will probably know we never agree on anything, and it's really entertaining. We're good friends. We don't agree on anything. It makes for pretty interesting content. But yeah, to pre-answer the question that always get asked, do you guys hate each other? No, we don't. We're good friends and we love to discuss Rocket League, but no, we don't hate each other. I don't know why that always seems to end up being the case in every video that we do together. But okay, what we're going to do right now is we're going to watch every KC playoff goal for and against in the Winter Major. So there's 18 games. They were able to win 4-2 against G2, 4-2 against Team Liquid, and 4-2 against FaZe. So we've got 18 games in total to watch every goal from. And I'll pause and you guys can vote on the ones that are kind of in the grey area of counter-attack or not. But what we're looking out for here, what we're going to focus on more than anything, is we're going to stick to T-Bates' premise here, which is he says the identity of Karmine Corp, well, what he said is the identity of both teams in the final. But I'm arguing Karmine Corp are not part of this identity, although I think FaZe are. He says the identity of Karmine Corp is that they're gonna play great defense and counter-attack you. So that's, in Bates' opinion, the identity of Karmine Corp. They're a defensive counter-attacky team. And we did discuss that in a bit more detail. Managed to, also come to the conclusion that, he thinks they're a more passive team that sits back and counterattacks. Plays passive, defensive, sit-back style, punishing mistakes. So we're going to get into these games and see, is that really what's happening here? Is that really how Karmine Corp are scoring goals? Or are they scoring goals by being aggressive, by attacking, and by taking risks? Now, one thing we have to do before we can get into the first goal here is we have to establish what is a counter-attack. Now, there are two things that need to happen in order for something to be considered a counter-attack. First of all, the other team needs to attack first, because in order for there to be a counter-attack, there has to first be an attack to counter. And secondly, the counter-attack has to be swift. It has to be, quickly, defense to attack, in maybe usually it's a few seconds, sometimes 5 seconds. Sometimes the pressure from a counter attack can last to 10 seconds or so. And we'll look at that and see, do these goals qualify as counter attacks? Do they qualify as passive defensive sit back play or not? So here we are, game 1 against G2. The first goal we can just watch straight from the kickoff here because it's quite early in the game. I'm actually just going to move you guys the chat over here in the top corner because we can see the score at the bottom there. So yeah, saved by Karmine Corp. Karmine Corp are immediately on defense after the kickoff. They're trying to break free into the midfield. Looks like they've done that. Now G2 is trying to get it back into the midfield, which they do. And then there we go. Overextension by JNaps. Commitment by Chicago. Chicago and JNaps are now both out of the game. And Atomic, the third man, also commits, loses a 50, and Vatira scores. Now, nice easy one to start off with. There's a reason I started off with this one. Chat. Type one in chat if you think that was a counterattack. Very easy one to start off here. I think we're all going to be unanimous on this, but I'll let you guys get involved here. Mostly ones, and you're absolutely right. That was a perfect example of a counterattack. G2 were attacking. They overextended, and then Karmine Corp counterattacked quickly, decisively. So that's one in the counterattack column immediately. Yes, Karmine Corp definitely counterattack there. Now, hold on. Let me just skip to the next goal. We'll go back like a few seconds. We'll go back like 20 seconds before every goal. How do I get it to just go back onto director cam? Here we go. So we can watch the build up. Okay, so Karmine Corp are in attack here in the build up to G2's first goal. G2 challenging in the midfield, kind of stopping Karmine Corp's attack before it can continue. And now G2 are the team who are pressuring. The G2 are the team who have an attack going. Karmine Corp are trying to hold on. They're trying to, not concede, but they crumble under the pressure. And I would say, I'm going to let you guys get involved in this one as well, since it's another very clear example, I think. Type 1 in chat if you think that was a counterattack. 2 if you think it wasn't a counterattack. This is another very easy one that should just intro the topic quite well. Yeah, it's not a counterattack. That is clearly G2 winning the ball in the midfield, and then eventually their attack gets through. So already we've got an attack for G2 and a counterattack for Karmine Corp pretty clearly in game 1. Hold on, I've just got to scroll up to the right part in my notes about these games here. Okay, here we go. So running into Karmine Corp's second goal now. We're just going to watch the build up here. Karmine Corp clearly in attack at the moment. G2 defending. Karmine Corp keeping the pressure on. Very aggressive because they think they've got G2 in a bit of trouble here with boost. They just keep on going. They're pressuring the back corner with multiple players. They're challenging immediately. And yeah, G2 not able to break free. This is just constant pressure from Karmine Corp, similar to G2 before it. And yeah, you guys, again, you can type 1 if you think that was a counterattack, 2 if you think it wasn't. I think that's pretty clearly not a counterattack. Game 1 here is a pretty easy one. Not really any need to do a vote. That's, yeah, clearly not a counterattack by Karmine Corp. But one more goal in the game. Let's watch the third goal as well for KC. Again, you can clearly see it's Karmine Corp who have the pressure on G2. They've got an attack going. G2 making one save there. Now G2 making another save there. Still Karmine Corp not letting them out their half though. The attack is still going. G2 holding on. Now G2 looks like they might have stabilized, but they just get challenged immediately. Karmine Corp's aggression in the back corner is something that you're going to see consistently throughout all of the replays today. They are extremely aggressive in the back corner, and once again they're able to break down G2. So yeah, one final time for this game in chat. 1 if you think that's counterattack, 2 if it isn't. Again, the very easy game here. We've got 1 counterattack goal for Karmine Corp to kick things off, and then we've got a goal for G2 and 2 goals for Karmine Corp, none of which were counters. So it's yeah, I've already got all the numbers in a sheet on my left. I can show you the breakdown at the end of this, but let's just get into game 2. So we've got 18 games to go through. Only 1 goal this game though. This is a pretty easy one. So let's just skip right to the end. We'll see in game 2 if it was a counterattack or not. Let's go to this part. This is probably enough build-up. We're into overtime. KC with a hard clear. Do they have attack off the back of this? Not really, but yeah, they're still pressuring. Misplay by G2, but good follow-up by Atomic to get a big clear. And yeah, now it's G2 who kind of have an attack going. Good defense by KC. And now KC trying to counter immediately. G2 stop it. So that's the end of the counterattack. I'm going to pause there just as an example of when a counterattack stops. Earlier on I said there's 2 things that need to happen in order for a counterattack to exist. Number 1, there has to be an attack for the opposition that you're countering. Number 2, it has to be quick. There has to be a goal immediately off the play, and this isn't what's happening here. Here, this would be a counter-attack if Vatira takes that ball and shoots it in the net first try. That would absolutely be a counter-attack. But this isn't what happens. It's not a counter-attack goal. It's actually a goal off, you know, a pretty even position where G2 are on the back foot, but Karmine Corp just pull out a worldie of a passing play. I mean, look at this from Itachi's POV. It's a brilliant read, because he is in... Wait, where's Itachi? Is he respawning or something? I can't go to Itachi's POV. Wait a second. Here he is. So we're going to watch this Itachi POV. This is a counter-attack right now. Itachi's dead, so his teammates are trying to counter-attack. It doesn't work. G2 stop it. Now, Vatira's about to steal the boost on the left. Exotic fully commits. Itachi's third man here. He's completely by himself. The passive, defensive, you know, sit-back thing to do here would be to just turn and wait for his teammates to come and support him. Is that what Itachi does? No. He reads that he can actually just beat JNaps and perfectly passes to Exotic to score kind of out of nowhere. You know, again, 1 in chat if you think it's a counter-attack, 2 if it isn't. I think it's pretty clearly not a counter-attack, because the actual counter-attack fizzled and then G2 just got outplayed. I think it's just not a counter-attack there. But a lot of people will confuse that as a counter-attack, because I think if we go back and if we skip to the goal, if we go back 10 seconds ago, G2 are in attack 10 seconds ago, but it didn't materialize quickly enough to really, in my opinion, count as a counter. Because G2, that's G2 stabilizing here. And now JNaps just gets dusted. I mean, is this G2 reeling from the pressure of the counter? I would say no. JNaps just gets outplayed. He's got boost. He just gets dusted. And then Atomic underestimates Itachi's speed. Also just ends up in no man's land. This is a goal because G2 were outplayed in their own back corner. Karmine Corp consistently pressure the back corner. And teams don't expect it. So, I mean, you guys, maybe some people would disagree that is in fact counter-attack. I would say it isn't. I think the majority of you would agree it's not a counter-attack there. Just great pass by Itachi. Like phenomenal third man dive, pretty much. So let's get into game 3. We'll go back to here. This is probably enough to see if G2 are counter-attacking on this goal. Yeah, like some of you are saying in chat, that could have gone either way. G2 could just as easily have broken free of defense there. They had boost, they had people back. They were not, you know, struggling to get back into position after overextending. Oh, this is a bit of a random goal. I wouldn't put this one in the counter-attack column either. I mean, this is a pretty funny goal to watch from JNap's POV, because he's, you know, just trying to think about recovering here after punishing Itachi's weak touch. He's thinking, right, let me backboard that. All right, let me just get back into position. Oh, cool. The ball's hit me. Nice. A perfect assist. Top bins. Not a counter-attack. That's just a goal by G2. No need to go any further on that one. Pretty simple stuff. Let's go to the first KC goal. Yeah, I like that there's... I want to say I do like that there's a discussion about the one goal in game 2, because I think it is... it's in the grey area, but I would say it's more leaning towards not being a counter-attack pretty comfortably. The game 2 Karmine Corp goal, because G2 were stable, they weren't overextended, they were in defense, they were ready. This is okay. Here we go. This is an example of a team who are overextended. How about this counter-attack or no? So have G2 stabilize, or are they still reeling from the pressure? This is a great one to go hand in hand with the last goal in game 2. Last goal in game 2, G2 had stabilized. Have G2 stabilize here? The answer is no. This is a counter-attack because G2 have clearly overextended here. Chicago doesn't play the ball. That is an overextension by him. And then Atomic is in a 1v2, panics, turns into a 1v3. Clearly G2 are not back yet. That is a counter-attack for Karmine Corp. In fact, the second counter-attack of the series. So out of 5 goals that they've scored, 2 of them have been counter-attacks. So far, you could say that's quite a counter-attack heavy team. Anyway, let's go to the next G2 goal. Why are we debating this? Because it's a good way to discuss how to identify Karmine Corp as a team. T-Bates and some others in the community think that Karmine Corp are a defensive, sit-back, counter-attack, passive team, and I think they're not at all. So I'm going to show you why I don't agree, and you guys can make up your own minds. Yeah, this is, I think, a pretty clear example of a counter-attack by G2, whereas previously we had Karmine Corp arriving with their second man before G2 could get back. Now look at what's happening. Itachi and Exotic here. No, it's Itachi and Vatira, sorry. Completely out the game. That means that JNaps and Chicago are able to get a goal before anyone else is back. So that's obviously a counter-attack for G2. No need to really think too much about that one either. Yeah, after this series, what we'll do is we can talk about how we would identify Karmine Corp based on this series. We'll do it after the next series, and then overall we'll do it as a whole for the 3 series that we watched today. Or we're only going to watch the goals. We're not going to watch the whole series. That would take too long. It's not really necessary to watch teams fighting for midfield control when we're talking about playstyles. Although that would be another interesting thing to do. Okay, is this a counter-attack from G2? 1 in chat if it is, 2 if it's not. I think there's another very easy one. It's obviously not a counter-attack. KC just didn't respect the backboard hit there and weren't ready to challenge it. No counter-attack there. So another normal goal for G2. So that was game... Wait, where were we? Was that game 3? Yeah. That was game 3. Okay. Game 4. I keep getting confused. I keep seeing G2 and thinking that means game 2, but it's actually G2 and then this is the game. All right. Anyway, let's get. Actually, we could probably just watch from the start here because the goal's coming soon. FaZe is not an attacking team. Yeah, FaZe is a defensive team, I would say. I mean, I said this on Shotcast before the Winter Major. I think FaZe are a defensive, passive team, and I think it was Rettles disagreed with me. But in hindsight, it looks like I, might have been on the money there. Okay, this is an interesting one. Very curious to hear what you guys say about this, because we'll watch from Exotic's POV. I'm not going to give you any clues here. 1 in chat if you think this is a counter-attack goal. 2 if you think it isn't. I'm not going to say anything yet, and then I'll let you guys know what I think after. I'm curious to know what you guys say just immediately. I'm impressed. Okay, I'm impressed by chat. I thought there were going to be more 1s. But yeah, you guys seem to understand that G2 don't really have an attack here. This is just a midfield ball. This isn't a G2 attack, so there can't possibly be a counter-attack because G2 are not attacking. So yeah, there was nothing to counter. And yeah, G2 were actually back with 2 of their players. They just underestimated Exotic. JNaps here isn't reading the double on target. He's reading the double into the backboard, and he's turning to try and beat Itachi to the ball. But Exotic just scores, so obviously JNaps didn't see that coming. Now, another theme that you're going to see a lot today is Karmine Corp getting pressure off kickoff more than their opponents. I think they outplayed all of their opponents on the final 2 days of the competition. When it came to kickoffs, I mean, immediately here we just have pressure and a goal. Is that a counter-attack? 1 in chat if it is, 2 if it's not. Another pretty easy one there for you guys. But yeah, definitely kickoff pressure from Karmine Corp was a theme for me throughout the weekend. They had very, very good kickoff pressure. Yeah, 2s across the board. Overall, we agree on everything so far. I thought by now we would probably have a big debate going on in chat, but it looks like 90% of us agree with all of the goals and whether or not they are counter-attacks, whether they're passive-aggressive. Now this, here we go again. Is this a counter-attack? Like G2 are, let me just, talk about what's happening here. That's, kind of an attack by G2. I think it fizzles right there. Now it's just, a midfield ball. Yes, it's in the back corner, but it's more like anyone's ball there. So the attack fizzled, and now G2 are all back. Are they reeling from the pressure? Not really. They kind of just mess it up. JNaps, what is he doing? Where is he going? What is that 50-50? So yeah, that's not really a counter-attack either. Kickoff. Again goes KC's way. Really good job by KC. Let's switch to someone else's POV here. And yeah, Vatira fake challenge. Perfectly brings Exotic into play. He beats his man. Vatira cuts across the midfield because Itachi sitting deep. Again, he's just pressuring, and Itachi perfectly passes to Exotic. And they've managed to score. So was that a counter-attack? 1 in chat if it is, 2 if it's not. I mean, again, I'd say that's obviously not a counter-attack. There's been 4 goals in this game for Karmine Corp. None of them have been counter-attacks. They're just the better team from kickoffs. They're the better team at, reading what's happening in the midfield. And they're more quickly following up on what each other's doing. They're also, I think, mechanically superior to G2 in this matchup so far, with lots of complete beats. Like G2 are just getting beaten to the ball. They're just getting outskilled. Okay, here we go with, I think, final G2 goal. Yeah, final G2 goal of the game. Is this a counter-attack? 1 in chat if it is, 2 if it's not. Very easy again. But I'll let you guys, you know, finish off this replay with another vote. Yeah, just not counter-attack there. Just a really good continued attack by G2, and Chicago puts it in. So that was game 4. Let's go to game 5. Probably... Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Wait. Hold on, I'm going to start this again so we can just use director. I don't know how to... There we go. Let's just skip to the goal and go back like 25 seconds here. Okay, so first goal of the game will be Karmine Corp. That's an attack by G2. It's fizzled. Now here comes the counter by Karmine Corp. Stopped at midfield. I'd say that's a midfield ball now. Karmine Corp have won it. And G2 not able to get the good clear there or here. Vatira with an outrageous pre-jump. And now look at Karmine Corp. They're swarming the back corner. They're all in the back corner. This is one of the most aggressive plays of the whole tournament. We need to watch it from Vatira's POV. I mean, is it a counter-attack? Obviously not, but watch Vatira here. I need to go on his player camera. Hold on. Vatira player view. Like, I don't know what Bates is watching when he says that Karmine Corp's a passive sit-back team. Vatira pre-jumps before Atomic's even started, and I look at the rest of the team. They're all just diving. They're like... they're making the most aggressive play I've seen all weekend. This is insane. They're all over them. So yeah, not only is that not a counter-attack, that is a mega risky aggressive play that Karmine Corp consistently make. They're very, very happy aggressing in the back corner, I think, which you'll see in a lot of these games. Right, let's go to the next G2 game. Yeah, ridiculous pre-jump read by Vatira as well. I don't know how he had that one so early. Yeah, G2 denying clears from KC now. They've got KC boxed in, and this is a worldie, to be honest. We need to look at this from Chicago POV. This is a banger of a goal. Watch this. Where is he? Chicago, come here. There he is. Flip reset, ceiling bounce, pre-flip, over 2. Is that a counter-attack? Obviously not. Is it a banger? Absolutely. Crazy goal. Now, this is crazy defense from Atomic as well. Keep an eye on Atomic here. Exotic 1v1 against him. Dodges the demo, saves the shot. Very impressive stuff. And now, G2 looking to bait KC into overextending so they can counter-attack, of course. It doesn't happen, KC. For a very wayward boost steal here. But okay, now here comes G2. That we need to look at this right here, the key moment. KC have some kind of pressure going. Chicago gets a beat, and now no one is able to get anywhere near Atomic because they haven't recovered yet. We need to look at this from, like, I think Exotic POV probably tells the best story. This is a counter-attack for sure, because immediately from defense, stopping the attack of the opponents, into offense, nobody's able to pressure Atomic in time because they're too busy recovering from their failed attack. That's a counter-attack, I think. And a really good goal by Atomic, by the way. I'm going to watch that one again. That's another, like, Chicago and Atomic popped off in this game. This is a crazy goal. I mean, unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable goal by Atomic. I don't think the live stream really gave us the best view of that, because I remember that goal didn't really look as crazy as that first time I saw it. Chrome saying that has to be the first demo in rotation attempt from G2. They probably should have been doing more often since they're super aggressive in attack. You mean since G2 are super aggressive in attack, or you think since KC? Because KC are always very, like, they play off each other's touches very quickly, so I think, you know, they're the team who need the most synergy, I think, to play their style. They're a very quick team. KC super aggressive, yeah, I agree. I really agree. They follow up on each other's touches extremely quickly, and I would say even in a risky way, but it works on LAN because yeah, teams are just more scared. Another worldie of a goal here from G2, but okay, this is an interesting one. Is this a counter-attack? This is a bit of a grey area because, you know, KC definitely have an attack going here. If Itachi can dunk on this, it's center for Exotic. KC are like lurking upfield, and now here comes the counter by G2. Does it land quickly enough to qualify? I don't know if it does. Yeah, KC are definitely not fully recovered. This is Itachi, by the way. We'll watch him. So Itachi trying to keep pressure on, gets outplayed, and then he's very slow back. Now, it's definitely got some elements of a counter-attack. You know, G2 just stopped KC, and now they go the other way and score. But I would lean towards no for that one, because it's not fast enough. I think it's not a quick enough counter to really qualify as a counter-attack for me. But I think some people might get confused about that one with... yeah, it's definitely, you know, more. It's made to look like a counter because Itachi recovers so slowly and then doesn't have any way of getting back to challenge the last ball. But he's just back very slowly. Right, last game of the G2 KC series, and we could talk about the series as a whole before we get into the next one. 2 very early goals here, so we're just going to watch from the start. Another kickoff goes straight into KC pressure, which they never relinquish. They're just all over G2 right from the kickoff once again. And they're all quite happy to get stuck into the back corner and take chances. 1-0. 1 in chat if it's a counter, 2 if it's not. Very easy final game here. And yeah, another one. Just straight from the kickoff. Bit of a lucky touch there from Batira, but hey. Not a counter-attack in my opinion. You could finish off final goal of the series. Was it a counter-attack? I don't think so. But yeah, this is a bit of an unfortunate goal for G2. Because Vatira, not only did he get the bump, he also redirected the ball as well. I don't know if Atomic could have really done anything about it though. Like, let's have a look at Atomic's view. Read Eversack's message. I'll do that in a second here. Yeah, it's going to be tough. That's going to be tough for Atomic either way. What did Eversack say? Eversack is Karmine Corp's coach, for anyone who's not aware. Can anybody copy-paste his message? I don't know how far up it was, because I wasn't looking at my chat. But yeah, well, you guys either do or don't do that. The breakdown of goals for that series, Karmine Corp scored 12 goals. 2 of them were counter-attacks. G2 in the last game is the strongest team he's seen. G2 in game 5, you mean? Yeah. Absolute bangers. Really, really good. Really good goals. 3 very good goals for G2 in game 5. I was impressed as well. I mean, I just watched those goals like multiple times because they were very good. Yeah, 12 goals for Karmine Corp. 2 of them were counter-attacks out of the 12. 10 of them weren't. For G2, they had 8 goals and 2 of them were counter-attacks as well. So... both teams scored 2 counter-attack goals in the series. Karmine Corp scored more non-counter-attack goals. So which team was more counter-attacky? Defensive, definitely G2. But I don't think G2 are a particularly defensive team. I think that they're just not as good at Rocket League as Karmine Corp. So they were just getting beaten by players who are a bit more mechanical and definitely a lot more well-oiled. They like follow up on each other really, really well. Read the game very, very well in the midfield. So I'd say that, I don't know, one, if you agree, this series, Karmine Corp were aggressive, not relying on defense and counterattacks overly. They were the aggressor. They pushed for all their goals. Well, 10 out of 12 of their goals. I think it's pretty clear that in this series, the attacking team was victorious. KC, I would say, were the aggressor for the majority of it. They were the more attacking team. They scored less counterattack goals. So, you know, T-Bit saying that the defensive teams dominated. Well, I would disagree, at least in this series, but we'll see if it continues to be the case. KC was super defensive. I'd love you to point out the moment they were super defensive in this series, because we just watched every goal, and they were not very defensive for many of them. 2 out of 12. 2 out of 12 of their goals in this series were counterattacks. The other 10 were either kickoff pressure, back corner pressure, or midfield pressure. They were all attacking positions for Karmine Corp. 4 out of 12. What other goals do you think were counterattacks? I'd love to know, but they definitely weren't more than 2, bro. Not in the opinion of everybody watching. But anyway, let's get into the second series. Karmine Corp Team Liquid. Best midfield control out of any team. 100% agreed. I think that's a great take, Chrome. I think their ability to read each other, their ability to read their opponent's touches and intercept them early is by far the best, I think, in the world right now. But they definitely don't look passive while doing it, I'll say that. Okay, game 1 against Team Liquid. Hold on, let me just scroll up to my Team Liquid Karmine Corp notes. Let's see how the only goal of the game came to be. So Team Liquid in the orange here, Karmine Corp in the blue. Both teams fighting for midfield control. Vatira wrestles it from Team Liquid. Big dunk by Exotic, and it's in the back of the net. One of it's a counter-attack, two of it's not. The nice easy one to start off in this series. Yeah, not a counter-attack. As you guys in chat can see, there was no attack for Team Liquid to counter. And on top of that, yeah, very aggressive play by Karmine Corp again as they push up and they immediately challenge everything. So first game, 1 goal. Definitely not a counter. Right, game 2. This is, by the way, the only series of the day, or the only series in the playoffs where Karmine Corp had more saves than their opponents. G2 had more saves than KC. FaZe had more saves than KC. I don't think saves are like the be all and end all, but it's an interesting thing to note that Team Liquid are the only team who didn't have more saves than Karmine Corp in the playoffs. Okay, straight from the kickoff again. Very nice job by Karmine Corp to get possession. Team Liquid defend it. Karmine Corp looking to keep it in the middle, keep it under control. And yeah, is this a counterattack, ladies and gentlemen, or is that just a Vatira 1v3 Chad move? Not seeing the passive sit-back defense counterattack on that play, not gonna lie. I think that might have been a Chad 1v3. Okay, next goal of the game also gonna be Karmine Corp. We've got a Team Liquid attack, so maybe potential for a counterattack. But here it comes. This is definitely counterattack territory. Doesn't land. Team Liquid handle it. And now we've just got a midfield play that Karmine Corp are again controlling, fighting for every ball. We've got Vatira again, air dribble out a midfield play, dunks on one. Of course, second man's there, and it's in. One of it's a counter-attack, two of it isn't. Another easy one to start off the series. Definitely not a counter-attack, came out of midfield play. So, back corner, straight to Itachi. Kickoff again, goes towards KC. Okay, now here comes Liquid on the counter-attack. But their counter-attack gets countered. It's a counter-attack, counter-attack. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that's a counter-attack? Because Team Liquid stopped the kickoff goal, or stopped the kickoff pressure, and then they try a counter-attack of their own. They're like, oh my goodness, we're going to score on Karmine Corp. And then they double commit, and then their third man gets beat. None of them are able to get back. I would say that's a counter-attack, in my opinion. Even though, yeah, in order for it to happen, Team Liquid had to make a really, really horrendous misplay. I think, who was this? The double committed. I don't know what they're doing. Was this a Chronic? Yeah, it's Chronic. This is just so unnecessary. I mean, yeah, definitely not the best play by Team Liquid, who are often criticized for conceding easy counter-attack goals. Is that, you know, something that comes with, is that more to do with their opponents, or is it more to do with Team Liquid? I'll leave you up. I'll leave you guys to decide. I would argue that Team Liquid are probably their own worst enemy in conceding counter-attacks more than their opponents really, you know, use it against them. But yeah, if you just like play 5 minutes against Team Liquid, they're probably going to overextend at some point. Okay, counter-attack coming from Team Liquid. Does it work? No, it doesn't. Exotic intercepts, and now we're back into the corner. Is it a counter-attack? Probably not, because I think, you know, it goes in, but I wouldn't really call this a counter because it's too slow. But yeah, look at Exotic here. Chad move by Exotic. Third man. He's in a 1v2. He's got a Chronic under the ball. A Chronic could shoot this. So, you know, Exotic has to think about saving this shot. He also has to think about, you know, what about Oski? Is this going to be a pass? Is it going to be a shot? He reads it's a pass very early. Very, very early read by Exotic. Shuts down the passing play. As third man with 30 boost. I mean, that is a very aggressive turn by Exotic, but that's what Karmine Corp do. They're a very aggressive team. They don't want to back off. Like, it would have been fine here to back off and let Vatira pressure the ball, but Exotic just spotted an opening to take a risk and turn, and it worked. So a very aggressive turn there, and it works. I wouldn't really call it a counter-attack though, because that is a 50-50. That's really anyone's ball, except, you know, Karmine Corp just outplay their opponents. Oski turns in no man's land. I mean, what is Oski doing? And then, yeah, Chronic's too slow back. I mean, this is a bit of a grey area again. Maybe some people put that as in the counter-attack category. What do you guys think? That's like probably the most grey area goal yet. I'd probably lean towards not being a counter. I think Team Liquid just messed it up royally. But yeah, this is definitely a grey area, and if we want to, you know, give T-Bates the benefit of the doubt, we can include this in the counter-attack column. Shall we include it just to give him something, because he doesn't really have many counter-attacks to write home about right now. We can give him this one, even though I don't think it's like a clear-cut counter-attack, really. But we'll give it to him. We'll give him one, even though that's like very, very grey area. Yeah, especially early on in the series, Chrome, Team Liquid were just all over the place. The amount of double commits, the amount of times that they would just completely misread each other and not follow up on what their teammates are doing. Right. bit of a NPC moment from Karmine Corp on this goal. Bit of an NPC goal. Not sure what they're doing here. Look at the Liquid counterattack. Oh my goodness, the ball's coming. Unstoppable. How are Karmine Corp going to possibly deal with this? That's right, they're not. They're just going to do absolutely nothing. Team Liquid are going to score. Yeah, it's obviously not a counterattack there, but what on earth are Karmine Corp doing? Right, kickoff, straight to KC. Oh, beautiful infield pass. Mind game 50 in the net. Just too good again from the kickoff. Karmine Corp continue to dominate from the kickoffs. That wasn't a counterattack, by the way, of course. And okay, something else we have to talk about. What do you expect the team who are losing 5-1 to do here, chat? What do you expect them to do? What should the team who are losing 5-1 do? Should they, should they sit back and just play out the rest of the game and, you know, try and make the scoreline as respectable as possible? Or should they be stop, you know, playing safe, take every risk, go all in every time, and if you lose by more, who cares? You know, at the end of the day, you've got to try and come back. Obviously, B. So, does that lead to more counterattacks happening for against teams who are losing 5-1 with the final minute approaching? Yeah, it does. Does that mean that the team who scored the counterattack identify as a counterattack sit-back passive team? No, it doesn't. It just means that they got a free goal because the other team were trying to win instead of keep the score at 5-1. So yeah, all in from Liquid here. They're sending absolutely everyone. They're trying to get something going. I mean, another double commit for no reason. Is that a counterattack? I don't think so. I don't know if it is. I think Liquid are just completely bottling it, to be honest, but I don't know what's going on. This is such a great area. I mean, it's a great area because Team Liquid just completely bottle it, but I'm gonna say that's like, listen. We gave the earlier goal as a counter. If we're giving the earlier goal as a counter, I think we have to not give this one. We've got to be like, you know, somewhat reasonable here. I don't think this is a counter attack. This is just, you know, Liquid being absolute beanbags. What is going on? All three of them are back. They double committed twice and they missed the ball like a combined 4 times. Like, that's ridiculous. But yeah, if that was a counter-attack, it wouldn't really mean anything anyway because the scoreline's 4-1. And yeah, last goal of the tournament, or last goal of the series. I mean the game, sorry. Again, not a counter-attack, but you guys can vote anyway. Get Bates in the call. I mean, I don't know if he's around. He can get in the call later and defend himself, but we're doing replay reviews right now. We're going to watch all of the goals and then we can, if he wants to come on and defend his awful take, he can, but he already had a chance on FT and you know, he had all the chances. He had every opportunity. We're in game 3 now, by the way. He had every opportunity on first touch to present his argument, and now I'm countering his argument. Okay, kickoff from Karmine Corp now. Remember what I said, in order for something to be a counter-attack, there has to be an attack for the opponents. Now this looks like a counter-attack because the ball goes from one end of the pitch to the other, and then it goes in the back of the net. But was there any attack there from Team Liquid? No, there wasn't. They just lost the kickoff. Karmine Corp played it perfectly to the back corner, so I would say that's not a counter-attack myself. That was just they lost the kickoff, and then they missed overhead read. Second goal as well. They lost the kickoff again, and they get dunked on. Is that a counter-attack? I don't think so. Let's go to the next goal. If you look at Octane stats, KC versus FaZe, KC dominated 5-6 games in FaZe half, attacking third. Yeah, there's two things that you'll notice about Karmine Corp positioning stats. Number one, they're usually behind the ball more than their opponents. What I mean by behind the ball means that their players are, on average, behind the ball more, between the ball and their goal, more than they're between the ball and the opponent's goal. Karmine Corp are always behind the ball. They keep the ball forward in front of them, but they manage to keep it way, way forward most of the time in the opponent's final third, a lot more than other teams do. So they're very much pressure, stay close to the ball, stay in the play kind of team. Chrome says, if anything, the NA teams are counter-attack heavy, which is just the wrong way to play on LAN. Again, I totally agree with that statement from Chrome. I said that before the LAN. I'm sticking to it after the LAN as well. I think it was true and it remains true. Yeah, FaZe have been the dominant team in NA. They play a very counter-attack defensive style, so everybody's kind of copying them. And then, yeah, they go international. It doesn't really work on an international scale. Now, okay, is this a counter-attack? I'd say no for Team Liquid there. Goal 1 for them. They just attacked and scored, so not a counter. You guys can keep voting in chat with 1 for counter-attack, 2 for no counter-attack if you want to put your opinion in for any of the goals. Okay, this is the third goal for Karmine Corp. Attack from Team Liquid fizzles. Now here come KC the other way, so this is definitely a counter-attack at the moment. Gets stopped. Now I'd say this is midfield ball. Anyone's to play. Team Liquid are double committing. They've completely beamed it and they concede again. Is that a counter-attack? I would say no. I think the real counter-attack stopped here. This is where the counter-attack stopped. And now this is just midfield play. You know, Team Liquid could absolutely deal with this ball. They don't. They played it pretty badly. And now the ball's in their net. Oh hey lad, oh hey V lad, thanks for the 3-month prime. Said Zen can't be number 1 without beating Ruas. Yeah, well he's got a chance to do that tomorrow. Slump Jr, thanks for the 8-month tier 1 as well, appreciate that. Flag73, thanks to the prime. Welcome welcome to the channel for you. So second goal Liquid, again off an attacking play, not really a Karmine Corp didn't have anything here, so that's obviously just an attack. No counter attack on the second goal for Team Liquid. Right, this is now 4th goal for Karmine Corp coming up. Liquid trying to get an attack going. It fizzles. Now here come Karmine Corp the other way. This is a counter attack. And before Team Liquid can really position, Karmine Corp put the ball in their net. Beautiful play by Karmine, by the way, but I think this does fall in counter attack territory for me. Because Team Liquid, they have an attack. They don't do anything with it. And now here comes... look at Itachi on this. This is insane. This is a disgusting play from Itachi. Yeah, definitely a counter-attack happening right now. Itachi fakes a wall shot, catches it, flicks it middle to Vatira, who doubles it in. I mean, unbelievable. Unbelievable play by Itachi. Just beautiful. Definitely a counter-attack play, by the way. But yeah, insane goal. Well, obviously, you know, for a team to identify it as a counter-attack heavy team, they would have to be, you know, using counter-attacks slash defense slash sit-back play, passive play for the majority, maybe not the majority of their goals, but definitely a lot of their goals, which Karmine Corp are clearly not doing. And when it comes to, like, you know, do they do it more than other teams, I'd say the answer is no. They're not even doing it more than their opponents, really. This isn't a counter-attack by Team Liquid either. They just break down Karmine Corp's defense again. Good job by them there. Actually, is this counter-attack territory? Maybe it is, because they get a save here. Let's see again. Karmine Corp attacking. Karmine Corp overextending maybe with one of their players. Vatira also out of the game. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely like this is right now a counter-attack here. Like, can we all agree this is a counter-attack at the moment? And then, is the pressure from that counter-attack does it still exist? Have Karmine Corp stabilized, or is this still counter-attack territory? Let's check out the boost totals for Vatira and Exotic here. Yeah, we definitely established that this is a counter-attack right now. If there's a goal right now, it's a counter-attack. Vatira has 1 boost because of the counter-attack. Exotic also has 0 because of the counterattack. They've both like just now arrived back in defense because they overextended. It actually tries to get it clear, but there's no time for Exotic and Batira. You know, that's probably, I'd say, the same attack. So yeah, I reckon actually that probably is a counterattack, I'd say. What do you guys reckon? Interesting one, because obviously the initial counterattack was stopped, but you could see the compromised position that Karmine were in meant that a goal was coming off the attack. Definitely an interesting one. That's an interesting one. I would probably say counterattack after watching again. Because every time that I'm saying the counterattack is over is when it's anyone's ball, when the defensive team have stabilized. Karmine Corp have definitely not stabilized here. Like, this is 0 boost. 0 boost. Why do they have 0 boost? It's because they rush back to their net because they overextended. Itachi's, I think, the only one who has anything here. And he gets dunked on. I think the only thing that would probably say this isn't a counter is Itachi could have 1v3'd. But yeah, Karmine Corp are definitely reeling from the pressure there because they overextended and got hit on the counter. So, great area there. Great area. Difficult to, you know, really pinpoint. Now, kickoff goes Team Liquid's way. And Atto 1v3s, obviously that's not a counter, that's just a kickoff straight into a goal. We could be. Yeah, that's probably like, you know, we should have maybe like included a grey area option, given it half a point. But what we've kind of done up until this point is if there's 2 grey area ones, we just give one of them a counterattack tag and one of them a no counterattack tag. Okay, right, what have we got here? We got more very aggressive back corner play by KC. They're keeping Liquid pinned in. Everybody's sending it and it's a goal. Obviously not a counterattack here. 1.5 equals grey area in chat. Yeah, definitely a 2 here. No counterattack on this one. Chrome, actually that's kind of what the purpose of this stream was. I am going to prove that T-Bait's current premise is wrong. So either he needs a better definition for the playstyle that he describes Karmine Corp to have, because I think counterattack, sit back, defense, passive is not accurate. I think he's either picked the wrong definition or he doesn't understand ball. It's one or the other. Either you don't know ball or he's got the wrong definition and he just messed up his words. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he needs a new definition, because I think he does actually know what he's talking about sometimes. Where were we now? What game is this? This is game 3, right? So on to game 4. No, we've not done the FaZe series. We'll do that one after this. Yeah, well, it can't be counterattack. It can't sit back. I totally disagree. Counterattack, I absolutely disagree. Passive, I 100% disagree. Defensive, everybody's like seemingly got a different definition of defensive in Rocket League, so that's the one that he could maybe make a case for. But I think that when you include all teams in the world, in my opinion, Karmine Corp do skew very aggressive. If you look at every team at the Winter Major, I would say Karmine do skew on the aggressive end of the spectrum. So I disagree with every explanation T-Bates has given for this team. Right, goal 1 for Team Liquid there was that counter-attack. Pretty easy one to kick things off. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, then there's complexity, triple commit, 0-0 match point. Indeed there is. Look how many saves KC have. Yeah, this is the only matchup where they had more saves. But it's also worth mentioning, they are now on match point. Okay. One if this is a counter-attack, 2 if it isn't. Another very easy one, by the way. But yeah, this is the only series where they have more saves than their opponents, and most of those saves do come in this game here, where they are on quadruple match point. But yeah, that's obviously a counter-attack there. Team Liquid overextend and concede. Obvious counter-attack there. But yeah, before this in the series, Game 1, Karmine Corp had more saves. Game 2, Team Liquid had more saves. Game 3, Karmine Corp had more saves. I think it was a total 4 more saves for KC up until that point in the series. In this game, they had way more because, yeah, they're they're probably just waiting for more blunders from Team Liquid. It's quite a natural thing to do, actually. It happens all the time, especially on LAN. When a team is on match point, they kind of like get a little bit nervous. We saw a lot from G1 with like the throws they had. We saw it with KC in this series. Match point is often very difficult in Rocket League. It does, how a team plays on match point define them? I would say no, that's not really how you should, judge how a team plays, because match point only happens, it happens less than, than less than average for games. KC are playing the closest to that BDS playstyle, midfield control. Yeah, they play out of defense more efficiently than BDS. Yeah, they've definitely like made a new like level possible, I think. Yes, this goal obviously not a counter-attack there. You can type one if you think it was, but I mean, I don't think this is even a discussion. That was just not a counter-attack there from Team Liquid to win the game. Let's get into game 5 after you guys can type some 2s in chat. Yeah, I think the biggest level up that KC have got over BDS, because they do have a similar idea of how Rocket League should be played, all about pressure, all about final third, dominance, all about no nonsense, just 50-50s, quick plays, mechanics, speed. The one difference is that, yeah, KC are way better at knowing where the limit is and just preventing teams from even getting out of their half for large periods of time. What do you mean G1 throw? By no means was that a throw. Great choice of words, my friend. Great choice of words. Brilliant pass here by Team Liquid, by the way. One of it's a counter, two if it wasn't. I think it's a nice, easy one there for Team Liquid. All right, let's skip a little bit to the Karmine Corp goal. Hold on, we'll go here. Yeah, their kickoff pressure is absolutely insane. As I pointed that out already in the, I think the G2 series, and it's going to happen in every series. KC's kickoffs are very good compared to most teams. Very, very good. They mix in back corners, like hard cheats, kickoff wins. Okay, well, they're very good at them. Okay, is this a counter, ladies and gentlemen? Another nice, easy one. Here comes Team Liquid on the attack. They commit multiple players. It's stopped. More commitment by Team Liquid. Again, it stopped. And now here comes the counter-attack, I would say. Brilliant play by Exotic again. And before Team Liquid can recover, it's in their net. That's definitely a counter-attack. Team Liquid concede. They can't get back before Karmine Corp score. Another kickoff pressure play from Karmine Corp. And it's in the net. Obviously, if it's straight from the kickoff, it's not a counter. Let's go next. Yeah, Team Liquid goal coming up. They're the team who are pressuring at the moment. They've got an attack going. Karmine Corp are trying to stabilize. Looks like they have stabilized. And now here comes Karmine Corp the other way. Big commit there by Exotic. And now here comes Team Liquid. And look at that. Is that a Team Liquid counterattack? Hold on a second here. Well. Counterattack for Karmine Corp's opponents. Interesting. Karmine Corp over aggressive, caught out of position. Expose that fraud. I am Dazrin. I'm exposing him. This is like just a chain, an exposed combo happening right now. That was a really, really good goal by Liquid. Yeah, Liquid in this game, they played very well overall. Given the situation, given the fact that they're against match point. I mean, look at this. Beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful. Not a counter attack, but absolutely amazing by Team Liquid. Well played. Absolutely amazing. Adge. I think we did get Adge. Let's just wait a bit then before we do the next game. I think that's actually, whoops, punching my headset off my head. I think that's the time. Yeah, we'll watch that goal again while we wait for ads. Watch it from a few POVs. This is a banger. We'll probably get, I think we got like 3 ads right now, so we'll just wait a bit. Yeah, Team Liquid just started off really, really badly in this series and then took too long to get going. Made too many mistakes early. Karmine Corp were just better at Rocket League, and before Liquid knew it, they were already like down and out. No ads anymore. We'll watch the goal one more time from Atto Pov. Then we'll... or was it Oski actually who scored it? Sorry, it was Oski. Just a banger of a pass from Chronic. Well played. Alright, let's get into the final game of the series. 7-1. Karmine Corp again. So Karmine Corp called timeout after that second win from Team Liquid. I want to, say that's, in my opinion, the perfect time to call timeout. When you're winning 3-2 there. Really good job. And it worked. So first goal, just a bunch of goals coming in from Karmine Corp here. Just a bunch of goals about to come in for Karmine Corp. Let's see how they go. The Karmine Corp have an attack. And then Vatira scores a very passive, very defensive, very sit back and counter-attacky goal there. T-Bates he might be onto something with that one. Okay, straight off the kickoff again. Karmine Corp have it. Team Liquid are absolutely in shambles off the kickoff plays. They've just been clipped on, and yeah, back corner kickoff lands for Karmine Corp. That was really nice kickoff strategy, and immediately they turn it into a goal. Team Liquid messed up, but obviously that's not a counter either. So 2 goals, neither of them are a counter-attack. That was a counter-attack. Well, that's where you're wrong, my friend, because if you watch what happened, we've got a kickoff. Exotic intentionally hits the ball on the side, so it goes towards his teammate Vatira, who's already in that back corner. And then, do Team Liquid have an attack here? No, they never had an attack. There can't be a counter-attack because there was never an attack. You might be joking, but I'm explaining it for anyone who might be confused. Because yes, the ball was in the back corner, but that doesn't mean it was a counter-attack. Some people just get confused. They see the ball changing sides of the pitch and they're like, ooh, counter-attack, but nah, not that simple. Obviously here, tons of pressure. And yeah, another goal. Everybody's forward. They get a goal. One of it's a counter, 2 if it wasn't. 3 goals already. Another, pretty comfortable no counter-attack goal for Karmine. I'm not seeing the defensive play that T-Bates is talking about. I'm not seeing the passive play myself, but he might be watching a different game, I guess. I don't know what game he was watching. Not sure what series he was watching. Even Team Liquid, the most over-aggressive double committee team. Okay, this isn't a counter-attack either. We'll watch it one more time. But yeah, even the most... I think Team Liquid and Complexity are the 2 most over-aggressive and out-of-position double committee teams in this tournament. And even in that series, Karmine Corp are not defending. Which, this isn't a counter-attack either. Yeah, I've got a document. I've tracked all of the... I've tracked all the goals that we're talking about here. I'll show you the stats at the end. But I want to really quickly mention, as we watch the next goal, if Karmine Corp came into this series with a defensive idea in mind, it wouldn't be the dumbest thing to do, because Team Liquid are very overextendy, so actually playing counter-attack style against them is not a bad idea. They do overextend a lot. Did Karmine Corp do that? No, they didn't. They actually tried to play mega aggressive against Team Liquid. They didn't want to give Team Liquid a chance to get into their comfort zone. They challenged them early, again, before Team Liquid can even get anything going. Karmine Corp have completely shot it down in the midfield, and they immediately score. Was that a counter? I would say no, because there isn't really an attack for Liquid. Liquid have defended the attack there from Karmine Corp. Now they're trying to get something going. Before they can even do anything, Karmine Corp have intercepted it. And yeah, they've double committed, and doesn't matter, they're just too good. Their midfield control is just too good. But yeah, like I said, Chrome, you think that's how KC lose if they resort to defensive play. I'm just saying, in theory, it wouldn't be a terrible idea, in theory, to play defensively against a team who are known for overextending. But I think Team Liquid, I think Karmine Corp know doing that against Team Liquid has more risk involved, because that might just give Team Liquid a chance to pop off. Oh, I need to talk about this goal as well. So instead of giving Team Liquid a chance to really get hyped and get confident, they just dominated the midfield, out-pressured them, and out-synergized them. But actually, I think there was a highlight reel, if you guys watched the First Touch podcast, while T-Bates was monologuing or talking about, I think he answered I said, what about these highlights is counter-attacky for you, because there were several goals that were just not counter-attacks in the highlight package of this series. And then this goal happened. Now, do you remember what I said earlier? what should the team who are losing 4-1 do? Should they just, play the rest of the game out safely? Well, obviously not. They're not going to do that. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to try and come back, especially when they're facing elimination. This is the final game of the tournament for Team Liquid if they lose. So obviously they're just going to send everything. Like, they're not holding back here. Chronic has just dove in front of the net with no boost to try and get an impossible bump. Atto and Oski are both cutting. They're all over the place trying to make something happen. And then T-Bait sees this play and he's like, oh my goodness, it's a Karmine Corp counterattack. Well, I never. They're a defensive team. Well, of course they're going to counterattack when it's 4-1 with 40 seconds left. Like, yes, this is a counterattack. Does it mean that Karmine Corp are a defensive team? I would argue no, it doesn't. This is just a case of the team who are already way behind overextending because they want a chance at winning, Like, does that define Karmine Corp's playstyle? In my opinion, no. Yeah, type 1 if you think counterattack goals when you've already won the game. Actually, change your opinion on how a team plays, because for me they don't. But type 1 if you're someone who would use the rubbish time goals to gauge how a team plays. We're going to see another one here. Like, Team Liquid are pressing up. Like, look how... This is a boost steal by Team Liquid, by the way. That's the Team Liquid player. Atto's pressed forward. Everybody's up. It's another easy goal. Is that a counter-attack? Technically, yes. But, not really. Because Team Liquid are just they've already lost. It doesn't matter. None of these goals matter. They're all irrelevant. So counter-attack or no, doesn't really matter. Yeah, really good play by Karmine. They even get a 7th goal just to rub it in. I mean, not that it matters, but it isn't a counter-attack goal. So yeah, total scoreline for this series. Karmine Corp scored 5 counter-attack goals out of 23. Not the biggest ratio for a sit-back, passive, defensive, counter-attacky team, in my opinion, especially against a team like Liquid, who are known for overextending and conceding counter-attack goals. Karmine Corp did not rely on counter-attack goals against Team Liquid. They pressured them and they dominated the midfield. They were just better at Rocket League in general, and yeah, much more aggressive in my opinion as well. But yeah, 23 goals, I believe. Let me just recount. 14, 19, 1, 7 in the second game is 8, 5 in the next game is 13, 1 in the next game is 14, 2 in the next game is 16, and then 7 is 23. And 5 of them are counterattacks. One of those counterattacks was in rubbish time, so it shouldn't even count, but we'll count it because we need to give Bait something. He's kind of taking a big L here, so we've got to give him something. Trying to help you out here, Bates, because your argument definitely isn't. Let's go to the final, though. FaZe KC. For the record, I do think FaZe played a very countery defensive style, and they do tend to do that. They're very... Compared to the range of pro teams we have in the world, FaZe do skew as one of the more passive teams, because that's just what these players are known for. Typical first kill or miss historically have been, quite defensive players on their separate teams. Now they're all on the same team. They just revert to their natural way of playing a lot, which is to not really take risks. Now, they're so mechanical and they're so skilled that oftentimes you don't really see them defending because they're just better than the other team. But when they go up against a team of equal skill, you'll usually see them in net a lot more, and you'll usually see them playing more passively. So that was my take on FaZe going into the LAN, and it's still my take on FaZe. FaZe coach Roldes actually said he was pretty disappointed in how his team played, especially in the grand final, because he thinks that they really turtled up and they played overly defensively, and that wasn't the game plan. It's just like I said, these players are naturally defensive when you look at how they've played throughout history, and yeah, they defaulted to their natural way of playing in the high pressure situation. But yeah, first goal there, obviously not a counter attack. KC just attacked from all angles and eventually broke FaZe. And then yeah, kickoff goes their way and they score again. Is that a counter? No. So yeah, 2 goals in the grand final already. Neither of them are counters for KC. Let's go into the next one. Just a nice easy speed run here. These are not difficult. So now we'll go to FaZe game 2. Let's see FaZe first goal. Skip Logic, thanks to the tier 1. Appreciate you, man. So midfield play. Both teams fighting for the pressure. Overextension from KC. FaZe punish. Definitely a mistake by KC there, but absolutely a counter-attack from FaZe as well. I skipped one. I don't think I did. I think I've shown all the goals, haven't I? That was 1 goal. First 2 games were 2-0. I showed 2 goals there, and now we're showing 2 goals here, so... Yeah, well, final minute. Karmine Corp trying to get the ball going in field. FaZe are just waiting. Great defense there by Vatira. They look to get 1 more goal at the end here. Tie this one up. Here comes a big attack by Vatira. Stopped. Exotic tries to go in field, misses, and it's another goal for FaZe. One of it's a counter, 2 of it isn't. Another very easy one here to finish off the game. Yeah, as you guys can see, 2 counter-attack goals for FaZe. They just waited for the mistakes, which did happen, and they scored twice. So, game 3, no team called a timeout yet. This is just straight into game 3. Lots of no goals happening. And then we have this goal. Yeah, so far in game 1, we had 2 goals from Karmine Corp. Neither of them were counter-attacks. They were both aggressive plays. Then FaZe scored 2 more passive, reactive, defensive counter-attacky goals. But this is a change-up from FaZe. We're actually getting to see them in the final third. And bang, FaZe snipes the corner. Is that a counter-attack? I don't think so. I think it's pretty clear it isn't. And now, yeah, again, Karmine Corp trailing at the end of the game. Need to somehow get the ball out. Looks like they do, but not going to work. Yeah, the pass chrome was very deceptive. Everybody in Karmine thought it was going to go the other way. Typical just kept it right in front of First. Yeah, First killer denies the clear. Bang, another goal. Is that counter? Of course not. Another very easy one here. We're just speedrunning this, the first 3 games, because they're super easy. Not really any discussion needed here. Just 2 goals there for FaZe that were obviously not counters. Okay, Vatira cuts rotation in game 4. Shuts down FaZe. This was, I think, the timeout for Karmine, right? They just called timeout and then they played this game, if I remember correctly. Yeah, midfield dominance by Karmine. Zipical messes up his clear. Karmine are all over them, and First Killer beans it. Little bit of a mess up there. Heavy touch gave Exotic a dunk. First goal goes to Karmine off the back of their pressure. I think it's going to be pretty obvious what's coming up for number 2, but I'll show it anyway. But you can probably tell by the little timeline at the bottom what's about to happen here and whether or not it's a counter-attack. Probably an obvious one, but we'll watch it anyway. Yeah, Karmine Corp again, just pressuring. They're turning on everything. They're intercepting every half clear. And they're committing everyone to the attack. That's Exotic in the net. Vatira's got no boost. It actually comes in anyway. Tries to air dribble it by himself. Like everyone's just sending it for KC. Vatira doubles at middle. Itachi turns and just goes. I mean, this is just full send by KC, but FaZe could not withstand the pressure. Another just non-stop aggression goal from KC. Now here we go again, right back to the same position. It's like KC in the final third. Itachi intercepted. Now here come FaZe actually getting an attack. So Exotic on the counter. And bang, hold on. Is that Karmine Corp's first counter-attack of the final? I think it obviously is. We don't need to really watch that one again. FaZe had an attack, clearly, and Karmine Corp were able to turn it around and score immediately before FaZe could recover. That's an obvious counter-attack, but oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh no. This is kind of like, do you remember when Atomic just beamed it and Exotic scored the double tap against G2? This is a low mechanics version of that, where back corner kickoff for FaZe, Typical tries to air dribble it. You know, technically that's an attack, but I wouldn't really say so. That's just he messes it up and it's in the net. So I think that's probably not a counter-attack, even though you could argue that that was an attack for FaZe. I would say not really. I think he might have just beamed it. Not a counter-attack there, in my opinion. What was that, 4 goal? Yeah, fourth goal. Right, 5th goal for Karmine Corp coming up. FaZe really sending it here. They're really going for it because they are, like I said in the Team Liquid in the G2 series, when you're down by this much, you might as well just forget about defense. So that's what they've done. They've forgotten about defense. And they're now a little bit out of position. Here come Karmine Corp, and it's in the net. That is a counter-attack. Does it really matter? No, the game is already pretty much over. FaZe were overextending because they're down by 4. Do we expect to see counter-attacks when the scoreline is already that big of a difference? Yes, we do. So no one should be surprised. That is a counter-attack, but does that indicate KC's intentions and how they want to play Rocket League? I would argue it doesn't. But no, I will count that. I'll count number 5 as a counter-attack. It was a counter-attack, but I want to put a little asterisk next to it and say the game is already over, so it doesn't really matter. FaZe are obviously overextending to try and come back. 6th goal wasn't a counter. There's another goal incoming. Let's just skip a little bit. Yeah, not number 6 though. Number 6 was not. Number 5 was. But yeah, you could at that. I mean, for number 5, 6, and 7 here, you could just ignore all these goals because they don't matter. This is completely. I mean, the next goal for either team is completely irrelevant. No one is really like trying at this moment their fullest. They're just, playing out the remaining time for stats. And yeah, we get another goal from midfield from Matira. An absolute banger, but yeah, not a counter-attack. Not that it really would have mattered either way. So 7-0. I think FaZe called timeout there, didn't they? Yeah, we can go into game 5. Let's see what's happening in game 5. Oh, I remember this. Oh dear. I think the first goal in this game is an absolute disaster for FaZe, if I remember correctly. The second timeout, yeah, the second timeout, not the poop timeout. Okay, so FaZe stopped the counter attack, I think there. Now it's just a midfield play, anyone's ball, and FaZe don't want it apparently. So there we go. Karmine Corp get the easiest goal of the series. A little bit of a mistake there by FaZe. Is it a counter attack? I would say resounding no. But yeah, we'll save FaZe the embarrassment of watching it again anyway. We'll just go next. So attempted near push shot there. FaZe keeping the pressure on. Brilliant air dribble middle by Mist, and Cyprical's there for it. Is that counter attack? No. That was just consistent pressure by FaZe. Great goal as well. Now, okay, FaZe in defense here. They're trying to get away clear. Karmine Corp as usual, challenging everything early. They're not giving anyone an easy out. You are stuck in your half when you play against this team a lot of the time. Very quick by Exotic, and Atira's there. Itachi's there. The whole team's there. Is that counter attack? No, it isn't. Is that relentless pressure? Oh yes, relentless pressure by KC again. But none of these are really like some of the like gray area counter attacks earlier were a lot more to discuss. These are all very obviously not counters, so we're just going to go next every time when it's obvious. This is an interesting one actually. This is an interesting one. Really good goal. So Karmine Corp have an attack here. FaZe stop it. Well, actually, they briefly stop it, but now it looks like Karmine Corp still have an attack. I mean, yeah, that's definitely an attack by KC. But now, boom, interception by FaZe. Counter-attack coming. First killer, infield. Cypical shoots. If that's in, that's a counter-attack, but it isn't. It's backboard, and then they get another 1, 2, and then a third touch before it goes in. Is this still counter-attack territory? Probably the most gray area goal in the series so far, but I would say most likely no. It could be. KC never really recovered here. Did they have a point where this attack was, handled? The counterattacks. This is definitely a counterattack right now. Definitely still a counterattack right now. Boom. If that's a shot in the net, that would definitely be a counter. But is it a counter at this point? Just because Exotic and Itachi are out of position, they're still reeling from the pressure of the counter. I think you could argue that the pressure from the counter-attack resulted in the goal here. Just like we said earlier on, there was like another goal, I forget which game, which series, it was in the Team Liquid series, I think. Yeah, I reckon maybe that counts as a counter. What do you guys think? Should we count that one? It's like gray, it's a gray area. It's a gray area. Karmine Corp were definitely reeling from the pressure, but it wasn't as immediate as you like to just, default call it counter-attack. Oh, this goal. FaZe really messed this up. This is obviously not a counter-attack at the end. FaZe have an attack, but I mean, this isn't fast enough to be considered a counter in my opinion, this one. Like, FaZe clearly have... FaZe have stabilized here. FaZe have stabilized. Or let me show you why they should have stabilized. Mist, you gotta go, buddy. You gotta go. He's got to, challenge here, because his goalkeeper right now is just begging Mist to challenge. He's like, please go, because if you don't go, then I have to go. And now Mist is on the backboard in an awkward position. Some people think that It's definitely hard because sometimes it's easier for the defender in the net to go first. But Sypical's slow back. I think Mist should have just gone. Like, and this is like not usually the case. If there's an air dribble coming straight towards the goal and someone is in net ready, usually they jump first. But Sypical's not actually ready in net here. I think Mist should just go. Sypical must have not communicated his exact whereabouts because Mist clearly thinks Sypical's going here. But yeah, Sypical goes too late. Mist gets landed on. I mean, this is why it's quite tricky to wait on the backboard and be the follow-up challenger. Because if you wait on the backboard, you're kind of a sitting duck. I mean, yeah, he just gets bumped. Great play by Itachi though. Exotic with probably the most accidental pass the entire day. I mean, watch this. Itachi, open, Exotic, straight down to the ground for Vatira. I mean, I don't think he knew a lot about that one, but really, really good finish by Vatira. Not a counter attack, of course, but yeah, we can go on to the last game and see what happens here. Okay, first goal for Karmine. We got 3 more goals to look at. Sip got down. Yeah, well, Sypical is late back because of this, so I think that's why Mist should probably go, because Sypical wasn't ready to immediately jump and challenge from the net. Yeah, Karmine Corp denying clears here, and brilliant play by Vatira. Air dribble bump assists were like a big part of this series. FairSkiller had a couple of attempts that worked really well, especially against Complexity. Yeah, obviously not a counter attack there for KC. Now we've got a FaZe goal. We don't need to see the winning goal. Yeah, we all know the winning goal wasn't a counter attack. Maybe we should just skip it. Okay, Karmine Corp looking to attack here. Now here come FaZe on the counter. And it's a quick one. Bang! I'd say that's probably a counter attack for me because they go from... This is a attack from KC. Nice interception by FaZe. They immediately go the other way. And before anyone else can come back and help third man, it's in the net. So I'd say that's probably a counter attack for me from FaZe. Beautiful demo on the last man. And now last goal of the tournament. There was no attack. Well, there definitely was an attack. It just got intercepted by the guy who cut rotation. Karmine Corp didn't see that someone was going to cut rotation, so they didn't move the ball quickly enough. I can go back and show you again in a second. We'll watch the last goal just to finish off this this game. But obviously, yeah, this isn't a counter attack. This is just an unfortunate blunder. But okay, the reason this is an attack by KC is because you've got everybody going at the ball. It's technically a brief 3v1, in fact, here, because everybody's just going for FairSkiller. But yeah, it actually is not quick enough, and Vatira also doesn't manage to stop Mist. So Mist stops the attack there. That's when the attack stopped. It was definitely an attack. Mist, if he rotated anywhere else, imagine Mist doesn't rotate this way. It's just there's just an attack here, but he does really well. Goes straight back towards the ball, and now here comes a counter the other way. Not the exotic pass. It's you mean the game 5 pass? Probably he didn't mean it. I don't think he meant the game 5 pass for the 0-second goal. I don't think so. Yeah, what do you guys think about the last one here? Is this a counter attack? Was this an attack for Karmine Corp? I think. Definitely a gray area. There's a couple of gray area goals here. Intercepted too early. I think that's probably a counter. I mean, it doesn't really matter how successful an attack is. It's more like, well, at least if nothing else, Karmine Corp definitely think they've got an attack here. If we can't agree that this is oh my goodness, this attack it's not a crazy attack, but they clearly think they've got something. Look where they're going. Karmine Corp are nice, our turn, and then they're like, oh no, Mist actually done really, really well there. That's a great touch by Mist. That's why Itachi's out of the game, because Itachi thought that he could get to the ball. Then he thought, even after Mist's touch here, he thinks, oh nice, I can center that. If Itachi hits that into the ceiling, then it's a center ball in this direction for Exotic. I mean, I'd say that's probably an attack. I think it qualifies. They didn't play it properly. They got outplayed. If Itachi's quick there, if he just beats FairSkiller to this ball, that's definitely center for for this guy. So they've stopped the attack by countering it, you know? Wasn't much of a threat, but I mean, we're not judging how well teams played here. We're just judging, like, you know, whether or not something was aggressive, defensive, was it attacking, was it passive? It failed, but that was an attempted attack by KC. Itachi was trying to either air dribble off the wall or center it by poking it into the ceiling so it would just bounce middle. And it didn't work, and they got punished for it because FaZe immediately countered. Skip Logic, thanks to the tier 1. Welcome to the channel. Now, in that series, FaZe scored 7 goals. 3.5 of them were counters because we're split on this last one. But even if we don't include this last one, 3 of their goals were counterattacks. 3 of them were definitely not. 3 of them definitely were. 3 of them definitely weren't. And then you have this last goal. So FaZe, you know, definitely out of all the teams we've seen, have the highest percentage of counterattack goals, which isn't surprising out of these 4 teams we've seen. When you ask anyone who's going to be the most defensive team out of FaZe, Team Liquid, G2, Karmine Corp, obviously it's going to be FaZe. But yeah, Team Liquid and Complexity in this tournament were the teams who were giving away the most free goals. Falcons as well, a little bit. Like, these teams overextended a lot. These teams dove as third man at bad moments a lot and conceded easy goals on counters. But yeah, Karmine Corp actually, out of their 14 goals in this series, they scored 2 in game 1, 7 in game 4, that's 9. And they scored 3 and 2 in the last 2 games respectively, that's 14 altogether. Only 2 of them were counterattacks. So just to recap, 2 out of the 14 goals Karmine Corp scored in the grand final were counterattacks. 4 out of 22 in the Team Liquid series were counterattacks, plus 1 more when the game was over in game 6. So you could call it 5 out of 23. And versus G2, they scored 2 out of 12 counterattack goals. A grand total of, what is that, 7 out of 49. Like, is a team that scored 7 counterattack goals out of 49. No, sorry, I've added that up wrong. It's 9 out of 49. 9 counterattack goals out of 49. One of, actually 2 of those being when the game's already over. Would you say that that's a counterattack heavy team? I don't think I would. There were 7 like legit counterattack goals for Karmine Corp out of 49 goals that they scored, and 2 more when the other team that they played overextended when the game's already over. Once in this series, and once in the Team Liquid series. But yeah, my own personal analysis of this, my own, like, you know, T-Bit started off this by, you know, talking a lot this weekend, saying that, you know, Karmine Corp are a defensive team for him, a passive team, a sit back and counterattack team. And when I asked him for like a definition of defensive on the First Touch podcast yesterday, he said that he thinks the identity of Karmine Corp is they're going to play great defense and counterattack you. And he thinks that they're the best counterattack team in the world. Now, while I do think that Karmine Corp are more than capable of scoring counterattack goals, do I think that's their identity? Do I think that's their style? I definitely don't think that. I think that Karmine Corp, for me, they skew more in the aggressive team category. I think that they are very, very good at putting pressure on their opponents, and I think the vast majority of their goals in this series and both of the other series that we've just seen came from pressure, aggressive cuts, aggressive dives as third man, very aggressive positioning after kickoffs, and I want to also add brilliant synergy as a trio. Their synergy as a trio is incredible to watch. The fact they can be positioned so aggressively and still not overextend is incredible. They don't concede many goals despite being positioned very, very far up the pitch. They just box in, they squeeze their opponents, and they extract mistakes from them. Super mechanical team as well. I mean, KC are just ridiculous. They're the full package. They've got mechanics across the board, team play across the board, and I think importantly, aggression across the board. I believe aggression is the way to play Rocket League. I don't believe in defensive passive playstyle. I think it's not the LAN playstyle. It never has been the LAN playstyle, and I don't think it ever will be, at least not for a long time. So yeah, that's my summary. I want to echo like what I said at the start of this whole segment as well, that T-Bait's a really good friend of mine. I love his content. I love discussing Rocket League with him, and I love that he's willing to die on the hill of every take that he makes, regardless of how wrong I might think it is. So I have a lot of respect for him. This is by no means an attempt to diminish any of your guys' opinions of him. I think he's awesome for the scene, and I love watching his content and First Touch podcast, where this content was initially inspired. What do you guys think? Type 1 in chat if you think Karmine Corp are a sit back and let the other team attack you, counter-attack, passive, defensive playstyle. Type 2 if you think they're more aggressive, pressure, mechanics, synergy, speed. I think the answer is obvious, but you guys are all entitled to your own opinion. At the end of the day, this is just my opinion, and people are allowed to disagree. In fact, it would be very boring if no one disagreed. We would just have, nothing to discuss. So, yeah, shout out T-Bates for creating a discussion here. Otherwise, it wouldn't exist. Yeah, it looks like most of you guys would agree with my second explanation there. But like I said earlier, I think most likely T-Bates just has picked the wrong words here. I think his Rocket League analysis is usually pretty on point. I think here he's just a bit off because most likely he's picked the wrong descriptors. Karmine Corp do defend very well, but I think they do it in a very active and a very aggressive way that often catches teams off guard. Similar to rush challenges in 1v1 and, early challenges in 1v1. Teams do that in 3v3 as well. They pressure, they rush, they charge to surprise their opponents. So, yeah, I think T-Bates probably just needs to, in my opinion, change his argument a little bit, because they are a great team defensively, and if he means to highlight how good of a defensive team Karmine Corp is, then absolutely I'm on board with that. But, not by saying that they're a passive defensive team. Because, defensive for me doesn't mean good at stopping the other team from scoring. Defensive means that you're like T-Base says, sitting back and letting the other team play, which is not what Karmine Corp do. They don't let anyone play. Yeah, it all comes down to definitions. I think T-Base is trying to complement Karmine Corp's defense, but by doing so, I think he's discrediting a lot of what makes them a good team. So I want to highlight the things that I think makes them a good team. And hopefully I've been able to do that with this stream.